Have you ever met someone who, on the surface, seemed kind, charming, maybe even helpful, yet, deep down, something felt off? You couldn't explain it, but their presence drained you, left you second-guessing yourself, made you feel uneasy without a clear reason. Here's the truth. Evil doesn't always come with a villain's mask. It rarely announces itself with a wicked laugh or a dramatic entrance. Instead, it smiles, it flatters, it wins your trust. And before you realize it, it's already taken something from you. Your peace, your confidence, maybe even your sense of reality. Stoicism teaches us one of the most important skills in life, learning to recognize and protect ourselves from those who mean us harm before they get too close. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But how can you maintain a clear mind when someone around you is constantly clouding your judgment with manipulation and deceit? The good news is, evil leaves clues. It's not as invisible as it wants you to believe. Toxic, manipulative people follow patterns. Patterns that, if you know what to look for, can be spotted before they cause lasting damage. That's why today we're diving into 6 powerful red flags that expose dangerous individuals. These are the people who lie effortlessly, create chaos, twist reality, and drain your energy. But here's the best part. Once you see the truth, you take back your power. You don't have to stay trapped in their games. You don't have to tolerate deception, drama, or manipulation. You can choose peace. So if you're ready to protect your mind, reclaim your confidence, and build a stronger, more stoic mindset, stick around. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to leave a comment sharing your experience and subscribe for more stoic insights. Now, let's get into it. Here are the 6 red flags that reveal the toxic people in your life. Red flag 1. They constantly lie and manipulate the truth. Truth is the foundation of trust. Without it, nothing stands. Friendships collapse, relationships rot from the inside. Yet an evil person has no regard for truth, not because they need to lie, but because they want to. For them, deception is not just a tool, it's a way of life. At first, their lies seem harmless, a small exaggeration here, a tiny distortion there. Nothing major, nothing worth confronting. But over time, a pattern emerges. One day, they say something with full confidence. The next, they deny ever saying it. You point it out, they act offended. They accuse you of misremembering, of being too sensitive, of making things up. And that's the trap. A truly manipulative liar doesn't just deceive, they reshape reality. They make you question your own memory, your own instincts. One moment, you're certain of the truth. The next, you're lost in a fog of doubt. This is not an accident, it's a strategy. A confused mind is an easy mind to control. Now think of the times they could have told the truth but didn't. A moment where honesty cost them nothing, yet they still chose deception. Why? Because for them, lying isn't just about avoiding consequences. It's about power. They lie to create an advantage, to test boundaries, to see how much they can get away with. They fabricate stories, twist words, and distort facts, not because they must, but because they can. And the most unsettling part? They feel no guilt. A Stoic understands that clarity of mind is essential for a life of virtue. If someone constantly manipulates the truth, they are not just dishonest, they are dangerous. Every interaction with them becomes a game, a mental battlefield where you are left exhausted, drained, and unsure of what is real. And that is exactly what they want. But you don't have to play. If someone in your life fits this pattern, do not dismiss it as a bad habit or a minor character flaw. It is a red flag waving right in front of you. The longer you tolerate their deceit, the more control they gain over your thoughts, your emotions, your sense of reality. So ask yourself, are you constantly questioning your own perception around them? Do you feel uneasy, as if something is always off? If the answer is yes, step back, protect your mind, and most importantly, trust your instincts. Because an evil person will never hand you the truth. It is up to you to see it for yourself. Red flag 2, they love conflict and drama. Most people seek peace. We may not always agree with one another, but deep down, we prefer harmony over chaos, not them. For a toxic person, conflict is not just an inconvenience, it's fuel. They thrive in tension. They seek out arguments, provoke reactions, and stir up drama wherever they go. If there isn't a fight, they'll create one. And when everything is calm, they'll find a way to disrupt it. Why? Because peace suffocates them. These people aren't interested in resolution. They don't argue to understand or to grow. They argue to win, to dominate, to make you feel unstable, as if you are always walking on eggshells. At first, their tactics are subtle. A passive-aggressive remark here, a well-timed insult there. Maybe they accidentally bring up a sensitive topic in front of others. You react, they smirk, they feed off the chaos, and if you refuse to engage, they escalate. They'll poke, prod, and push until you snap. Then, the moment you lose your composure, they'll play the victim. Why are you overreacting? I was just joking. You're too sensitive. Suddenly, you are the problem. This is not normal behavior. A Stoic understands that external conflict is often outside of our control, but our response is always within our power. The problem is, these people don't just create conflict. They enjoy it, they manipulate it. They use it to exhaust you, weaken you, and pull you into their never-ending web of chaos. Watch their patterns. Are they constantly stirring up trouble? Do they seem happiest when others are fighting? Do they pit people against each other, only to sit back and enjoy the fallout? That is not a coincidence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But strength requires awareness. And awareness means recognizing when someone in your life is addicted to conflict. If someone is always pushing you into arguments, turning small issues into massive battles, or making peace feel impossible, take it as a warning. Some people don't want solutions. They want chaos. And the best way to win their game? Refuse to play. Red flag 3. They make you feel like you're always at fault. A mind in doubt is a mind that can be controlled. And an evil person understands this better than anyone. That's why they use one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, gaslighting. They don't need chains or threats to control you. All they need is a steady erosion of your confidence, a slow, calculated attack on your perception of reality. At first, it's subtle. You express frustration. They tell you you're overreacting. You recall an event differently. They insist it never happened. You bring up something hurtful, they said. They scoff. You're too sensitive. Over time, you start to doubt yourself. Did I really misunderstand? Am I being too emotional? Maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe it's me. That's exactly what they want you to think. A person who truly cares about you will listen, even if they disagree. They may defend themselves, but they will never try to rewrite reality. A toxic person, on the other hand, does not seek understanding. They seek control. They want you to feel unstable, uncertain, dependent on them for validation. Because the more you doubt yourself, the more power they have over you. Picture this. You're in a disagreement. You know what was said. You remember it clearly, but they insist, calmly, confidently, that you're wrong. They twist details, rewrite events, make you feel foolish for even bringing it up. Suddenly, you're no longer defending your point. You're defending your sanity. The Stoics teach us to trust reason, to see things as they are, to remain steadfast in what we know to be true. But gaslighting is designed to pull you away from truth, to make you question even your own mind. And once you start seeking them for clarity, for reassurance, for a sense of reality, you have handed them control. So ask yourself, are you constantly apologizing, even when you're not sure why? Do you feel like you have to prove your emotions are valid? Do you question your own memory, your own instincts, your own reality when you're around them? If so, pay attention. This is not love. This is not friendship. This is manipulation. And you do not owe your loyalty to someone who poisons your sense of self. Stand firm. Trust your perception. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting, and you do not need their permission to believe in your own reality. So we've made it halfway through the video. You're still here, right? If you are, that means this content is resonating with you. Maybe it's making you reflect on past experiences. Maybe you're realizing certain people in your life have been waving these red flags all along. Or maybe deep down, you already knew something was off, but now you have the words to define it. Either way, I want to hear from you. Which red flag has stood out to you the most so far? Have you ever dealt with someone who constantly lied? Or maybe someone who thrived on drama and conflict? Drop a comment below, because your story might help someone else recognize these patterns too. And if you're finding this video valuable, do me a favor, hit that like button. Not just because it helps the channel, but because it tells me this is the kind of content you want more of. All right, take a deep breath. We're not done yet. Let's keep going. Red flag 4. They play the victim in every situation. Life is hard. We all face struggles, setbacks, and moments of pain. A strong person accepts this. They take responsibility for their choices, they learn, they grow. But an evil person, they wear their victimhood like armor. Nothing is ever their fault, nothing. They blame their past, their parents, their ex, their boss, the world, anyone but themselves. If something goes wrong, they don't reflect, they point fingers. And worst of all, they expect you to buy into their sob story, to feel sorry for them, to excuse their behavior because they've had it so hard. At first, it seems harmless. You sympathize, you want to help. You tell yourself they've been through a lot. Maybe that's why they act this way. But over time, you notice a pattern. Their problems never seem to improve, no matter how much you help. Their misfortunes always seem exaggerated. Their suffering always seems worse than anyone else's. And before you know it, you've been pulled into their endless cycle of self-pity and manipulation. But here's the real trap. If you ever hold them accountable, if you ever try to set a boundary, they will turn the tables instantly. How could you do this to me? After everything I've been through, you're the one hurting me. Suddenly, you're the villain. Your reasonable request becomes an attack. Their failure to change becomes your fault. They distort reality so well that you start questioning yourself. Am I being too harsh, too insensitive, too selfish for prioritizing my own well-being? No, you're not. This is not just emotional manipulation, it's control. The Stoics teach that external events are beyond our control, but our response is always within our power. A person who refuses to take responsibility for their life is not just weak, they are dangerous. Because when someone never owns their actions, they will always find a way to place the burden on you. So ask yourself, are you constantly making excuses for them? Do you feel guilty for setting basic boundaries? Have you been pulled into their endless cycle of problems only to realize they never truly want a solution? Just more sympathy? If so, it's time to step back. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to help themselves. You do not owe your energy to those who drain you. You are not obligated to stay in relationships built on guilt and manipulation. A person who clings to their victimhood at the expense of others is not just toxic, they are a threat to your peace. Recognize the pattern. Refuse to be controlled by their false narrative. And most importantly, walk away. Red flag 5. They constantly criticize you, but never acknowledge your success. There's a kind of poison that doesn't kill you instantly. Instead, it weakens you over time. Slowly, silently, constant, unrelenting criticism. It doesn't come in the form of open insults. No, that would be too obvious. Instead, it seeps into your mind through carefully placed comments. Small, seemingly harmless remarks, always pointing out what you lack, never what you achieve. An evil person will rarely, if ever, celebrate your victories. No matter how hard you work, how much you grow, or what you accomplish, it will never be enough for them. If you succeed, they'll downplay it. If you improve, they'll move the goalpost. If you feel proud of yourself, they'll be there to remind you of what you could have done better. Picture this. You spend weeks working on a project. You give it everything you have. Finally, you achieve what you set out to do. Excited, you share your success with them. Their response? A shrug. A dismissive, "That's nice, but it's not that big of a deal." Or worse, they find a way to make it about them. They compare your achievement to their own. They make sure you know they've done more, done better, and always will. This is not constructive criticism. This is deliberate erosion. A Stoic knows that external validation is fleeting, but even the strongest mind can be worn down by constant negativity. And evil people understand this. They don't want to see you grow. They want to see you doubt yourself. They want to plant a seed of insecurity so that over time you start believing their voice more than your own. And the most insidious part? While they diminish your achievements, they elevate their own. They boast about their successes, their skills, their superiority, always positioning themselves above you. It's not just about making you feel small, it's about making themselves feel powerful. But you must remember this, their words do not define you. The Stoics teach us to measure ourselves by our own principles, our own progress. not by the opinions of those who seek to break us down. So ask yourself, do they only focus on your flaws while ignoring your strengths? Do they dismiss your achievements, no matter how hard you work? Do they seem threatened whenever you succeed? If so, pay attention. No one has the right to make you feel unworthy. Recognize the pattern, protect your mind, and never let someone else's bitterness become the measure of your worth. Step away from those who only seek to diminish you. Your growth is not theirs to control. Red flag 6. They display no empathy or compassion. If there is one trait that separates the virtuous from the wicked, it is empathy. The ability to share in another's joy, to feel another's pain, to recognize the humanity in those around us. This is what binds people together. But an evil person? They feel nothing. Not for you, not for anyone. Their indifference is chilling. You could be suffering, breaking under the weight of grief, and they will stand there unmoved. If they acknowledge your pain at all, it will be with cold detachment. Well, life's unfair. Or worse, they will twist the moment to make it about themselves. They will steer the conversation away, as if your emotions are an inconvenience, as if your suffering is insignificant. Imagine this. You experience a deep, personal loss. The death of a loved one, a devastating failure, a heartbreak. You turn to them, hoping for understanding, for even the smallest display of kindness. Instead, you receive a blank stare, a shrug, a dismissive, "It happens to everyone." In that moment, their lack of humanity is impossible to ignore. The Stoics teach us to temper our emotions, to remain resilient in the face of adversity, but they never advocate for coldness. True strength does not mean a lack of empathy. It means choosing to act with wisdom and compassion. Evil people, however, mistake apathy for power. They see others not as fellow human beings, but as tools, things to be used, discarded, or ignored when no longer useful. And their emotional emptiness creates a suffocating presence. When you are around them, you don't feel seen, you feel invisible. You don't feel understood, you feel alone. And that is exactly how they want you to feel. Because isolation makes you easier to control. But here's the truth. You are not small. You are not invisible. If someone repeatedly dismisses your emotions, refuses to acknowledge your struggles, or treats your existence as insignificant, they are showing you who they are. Believe them. A person without empathy is not simply emotionally distant or bad at expressing feelings. They are dangerous, because if they cannot care about your pain, they will have no hesitation in causing it. Recognize the warning, protect your spirit, and never waste your time trying to find warmth in someone who has none to give. The absence of empathy is not just a flaw, it is a red flag. Walk away before their emptiness drains you too. I know, this may feel like a lot to take in. Recognizing these red flags isn't always easy, especially when emotions are involved. When you want to believe the best in someone, when you've already invested time, trust, and love. But understanding these signs can save you from years of pain, manipulation, and self-doubt. Evil people don't always come with a warning. They slip into your life unnoticed, chipping away at your confidence, your peace, your sense of self. But here's the truth. You don't owe your energy to those who drain you. The moment you recognize these patterns, you have a choice to step back, to protect yourself, to reclaim your power, even if it's difficult, even if it means walking away from someone you once trusted. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your peace is worth more than their presence." So ask yourself, who in your life makes you feel uncertain, unstable, and exhausted? Who diminishes your confidence instead of building you up? Who thrives on chaos instead of harmony? And most importantly, are you ready to choose yourself over their toxicity? If this message resonates with you, I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever encountered someone like this? How did you handle it? Or are you still navigating that situation? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might need to hear it. And if you're on a journey of self-growth and self-protection, make sure to subscribe. There's so much more to explore about recognizing toxic people, building resilience, and mastering your mindset. Until next time, protect your peace, guard your mind, and always trust your instincts.